Well, the Supreme Court today sought a response from the National Testing Agency, the NTA, and the Centre over a plea seeking fresh conduct of the NEET undergraduate medical entrance exam 2024, claiming that the sanctity of the examination has been severely affected by allegations of paper leak and irregularities in the results announced on the 4th of June. The court was hearing a petition by 10 candidates out of nearly 2.4 million students who took the national eligibility cum entrance tests at 4,750 centres that are spread across 571 cities, including overseas, for admission to MBBS colleges. Lawyers representing other students informed the court that more petitions have been filed challenging other aspects of the NEET UG, encompassing not just allegations of paper leak and award of marks, but the compensatory policy of NTA to award grace marks for loss of time suffered by almost 1,563 candidates. Well, the allegations of paper leak emerged after students appearing for the Hindi medium at one centre in Rajasthan got question papers in English. While there were reports of a torn OMR sheet and delay in distribution of question papers, a case has been launched in Patna over the alleged paper leak, and the police have arrested some individuals as well. Well, the investigation, as they say, is still going on. But as we jump into this debate and this important discussion today, we talk about a very serious issue and matter. Who will take responsibility for this? Future of so many students is at stake, and what happens next is going to be the big question. We'll talk about this with some of the people who are in fact embroiled in this situation. Charu Mathur, who is the advocate of Supreme Court, also appeared for the petitioner of a doctor who appeared for NEET PG 21-22, is joining us on the show. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, chairman of Nephron Clinic, Padma Shri. Dr. Satish Rath, entrepreneur, perception analyst, and a doctor himself, is joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Sunil Kumar, NEET student who scored 608 marks, is also joining us out of 720. Ujjwala is also a NEET student. She got 600 marks in this exam. Dr. D.R. Rai, former General Secretary of the Indian Medical Association, also joins us on the broadcast. Let me in fact rope in these students and understand what their concerns are and what they feel about this predicament that they find themselves in. Sunil Kumar, I'll begin with you. Sunil? Sunil, can you hear me?
Am I audible, sir?
Yes,
sir, I can hear.
Sunil, describe what you're going through. Do you feel cheated upon? Do you feel that the system has failed you? And do you think that the NEET examination, which is perhaps a test of the best medical minds in the country, has somehow not articulated its intentions properly? The administration has also failed in keeping this kind of a process watertight?
Absolutely, sir. Sir, if you look at the trends from the last 2-3 years, the cutoff has always been around 605 and 610. The teachers also said this year also the cutoff would be around 650. But the results were quite literally unexpected, and the cutoff went and soared from 610 to 655, which is almost impossible. And जैसे last year 650 पे 7,000 रैंक थी, लेकिन इस साल 650 मार्क्स पे 30,000 रैंक है, और इससे पता चलता है 650 मार्क्स पे इस बार सिलेक्शन भी नहीं हो रहा। मतलब कि 6 गुना रैंक बढ़ गई है। 6 गुना रैंक बढ़ गई, उसका साफ साफ मतलब पता चलता है कि पेपर लीक कहीं ना कहीं तो हुआ है।
सुनील, कुछ ऐसे भी स्टूडेंट्स थे, कुछ ऐसे भी विद्यार्थी थे जिनके एक ही सेंटर से 700 से ऊपर मार्क्स आए हैं हरियाणा में।
एग्जैक्टली सर, 720 बच्चों, 67 टॉपर्स हैं, 67 बच्चों के 720 आए हैं, लेकिन उनमें से 6 बच्चों के 720 एक ही सेंटर से आए, जो कि क्वाइट इम्पॉसिबल,
जो बिल्कुल इम्पॉसिबल है। उज्ज्वला से भी बात करते हैं। उज्ज्वला इज अ नीट स्टूडेंट. शी ऑल्सो procured 600 marks in this very important examination. Ujjwala, if you can hear me, thank you for speaking with us.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Ujjwala, do you feel that you've been wronged and the authorities who conduct this examination have failed you and somehow have not been able to do justice to a lot of irregularities that have presented themselves and have also reached the doors of the Supreme Court?
Yes, sir, I totally agree with that. And there is such a huge rise in the topper list, like 67 students securing 720. How come it possible? Every year we see 2 or 3 toppers, maximum 10 toppers of whatever the level of paper would be, how come it would be 67 and 8 students securing 720 from one center only with almost same application number? How can we trust it? When we questioned, they told us about the normalization scheme. We all know that it had been published for CLAT
आपको
examination,
क्या
and
लगता
that
है
is all right.
उज्ज्वल, आपको क्या लगता है क्या हुआ? क्या चीटिंग हुई है? क्या ये एक तरह से एक कोई षड्यंत्र है या साजिश है जिसकी वजह से इन स्टूडेंट्स को इतने सारे मार्क्स मिले हैं?
सर, चीटिंग के तो 90%, 99% मैं कहना चाहूंगी। मास पेपर लीक हो चुका है, हमारे इतने सारे स्टेट्स में पेपर लीक हो चुका है, बट एनटीए डिनाई कर रही है। वो कह रही है सिर्फ राजस्थान में हुआ जिसे हम पेपर लीक नहीं मानते। तो कैसे पटना में 4 मई को पेपर लीक के आरोप में 13 लोगों को अरेस्ट किया गया? वो एफआईआर प्रूफ है, न्यूज चैनल पे आया है। द हायर अथॉरिटीज आर कंटिन्यूअसली हाइडिंग ऑल द स्कैम बिहाइंड इट।
आपको लगता है कि आपको लगता है कि आपको कोर्ट से किसी तरह के इंसाफ की ज़रूरत है? और आपको क्या लगता है कि अगर रीनीट दोबारा हुआ, अगर एग्ज़ाम दोबारा होता है, उसी से आप लोगों को संतुष्टि मिलेगी?
सर, कैन यू रिपीट?
Chali, let me also bring in Charu Mathur into this conversation. Charu Mathur, if you're there with us.
Yeah.
Charu, appreciate you joining us. Well, the concerns of the students are aplenty, even the ones, who perhaps feel shortchanged, especially the ones who feel shortchanged as a result of these irregularities, are not going to be able to exude any kind of a confidence, even if this matter blows over. Do you think that a re-NEET is the call of the hour, and how should the courts come down upon, and how should the center also come down upon the testing agency for all these irregularities that have been allowed?
Yeah, so thanks Vineet for having me. So the first of the thing that there is something that has gone wrong. Some papers perhaps have leaked, or the students have been wronged at some place. That is why they had to give the grace marks. But perhaps I don't think that re-NEET is a solution, because NEET is a huge exam. Perhaps they can conduct for those particular areas another exam. Just imagine the exercise that they have to take. And in fact, in my view, entire system needs to be overhauled, because this is just the first step of testing. Once the counseling comes, and then where you have all India quota and state quota, there will be large number of problem. And you see, these are NEET UG students. You must appreciate that these are just young, 16 years, 17 years, 18 years old. You are putting so much mental pressure on them by this examination, and just by MCQs are what? They are just the method of elimination, right? So you need to have some sort of, I think it needs complete overhauling, because they have made the system so complicated that in the counseling it becomes like a Russian roulette. That you have to say that I have to apply in round 1, round 2, round 3, I'll go for the stray round. So I think it requires, and I feel very strongly for the students, because if you look at the price of education also for the medical education, there are so few government colleges, and where you can get education for 1.25 lakhs or so, but for the private, you go up to like even for a crore or so. So I don't think that our youth deserves to be shortchanged like that. We have opened lot many medical colleges, but the problem is in implementation, problem is in testing, and problem is in having the confidence of the children and of parents of the entire system in the fair conduct of the examination. So up till now, even the OMR copies, the sheets were not coming. Even the earlier we had filed some writ petition where we said that you are not giving us the OMR copies. Earlier they used to give carbon copies. Now again they have allowed for the UG students, but still the issues that PG students faces, they are not getting their OMR sheets. So I think the system requires complete overhaul, and it is something which should not be taken up as an adverse litigation, but it should be taken as something which we can do for the progress of nation. We need doctors. We are opening more and more hospitals. We are opening more and more medical colleges. But the thing is, still the best of the best students, they are left out. And coming on to this particular examination, So I think the entire re-NEET will be putting a lot of stress on the resources. But maybe for those particular centers, like even in the Supreme Court, like if you are aware, yesterday we had our AOR exam, there was some technical glitch. So instead of canceling the exam for everybody else, we are just conducting exam only for those center where these people had gone for computer exam. So they have to come out, work out some solution, because it should not be there that people who are meritorious, they are left out because some people were able to procure the paper allegedly. So I think that's my take.
Dr. Bagai is also here with us. Dr. Bagai, there have been protests in Lucknow. The ABVP is protesting. The NSUI is also protesting. The students are disheartened. The National Testing Agency is obviously trying to save face. They have come up with a lot of explanation as to why they did what they did. Some of it is perhaps not being, digested, for the lack of a better word. But the fact of the matter is that this is a big mess up, if we can call it that can only be wiped clean from the conscious as well as the minds and the apprehensions of the students if there is a re-examination.
Good evening, Vineet. Sorry for the internet glitch. My take is as follows. I think there has been a procedural lapse. There have been certain cracks in the system, whether it's been a paper leak or it's a computing error. There is something gone amiss, and I think there is an investigating agency which is looking into it. But at the receiving end are the students who had a grueling time after class 11 and class 12 board exams, and then multiple exams, not only NEET, but regional and private medical colleges and so on. Having said that, we know that the MBBS seats have been increased twofolds, the MD seats have been increased twofolds, the postgraduate seats in the last 10 years. That's fantastic news. The number of medical colleges have increased. That's also excellent. But the system is not appropriate for the present moment. Just allow me exactly 2 minutes and let me explain my point of view. A student who's completing class 12 and entering into MBBS, this is an undergraduate course. All Western countries, and MBBS as an undergraduate course is not considered so. You have to do 3 years of undergraduate and then go into MBBS. A young student coming from different parts of the country goes through these grueling exams plus private medical colleges exams. It's a pressure cooker. In this system, class 11 and 12 has been thrown into, it's been languishing at the sides, it's been made redundant. There is no sense of class 11 and 12 left now, and I think that needs to be addressed. The +2 still has certain merit. Next point is we need to address what is the curriculum. What are we testing the children on? We are testing the children on the speed of thought process on multiple choice questions. Medical is not like that. Medical is not multiple choice questions. Medical is not botany. Therefore, it comes to the next question is, what is the syllabus doing? We are running an old, outdated Jurassic Park syllabus which has no role in medicine. Botany has no role going forward in medicine. You have to test a child on basic sciences, on intelligent quotient, not on memory of botany and plants and zoology. The next point is we need to give merit to the class 11 and 12 marks. There should be a grading system in which everything doesn't depend on the marks or the health and the well-being of a child on that particular day. We are deciding the future of a child for the next 15, 20 years in academics. And MBBS is 5.5 years, including internship, 3 years of MD, 3 years of DM or an MCH, and then specialization. You're looking at 12 to 15 years after a child leaves high school. That's a very long period. We need to make sure that the best talent comes in. We need to make sure that we de-stress the children. This present system is putting too much of stress, too much of agony, too much of anxiety, too much of uncertainty in the system, which then reflects on the health of children. That is not what we want. We want the best students in a de-stressed environment to understand the beauty of joining medicine. Here, it is going completely wrong. Class 12 has been put into the dustbin. It's all on coaching classes. It's all on tuitions. It's all on memory. That's not the way medicine works. Over to you.
Dr. Satish Rath, also with us on the broadcast. Dr. Rath, what are your thoughts on what's happening with the NEET examination? Of course, it's lost all its sheen. The National Testing Agency has also lost a lot of trust and credibility. This is a country where we just had the elections concluded, a machinery, a well-oiled machinery which works very well and has handled crores of votes coming in and being accounted for, whereas the NEET examination, which is something that practically is a fraction of that number, has not been able to consolidate the kind of quality that we see in other areas or perhaps even other countries for that matter, Dr. Rath.
Very much. I think, Vinay, thanks for having me on the show. So I very much concur with the thought by Dr. Sandeep Gai. I will focus more on the examination process, right? So it's no doubt, what we hear from the children, as well as, it pains my heart that, you appear a very good examinations and good student actually give their 24 hours and then they just come to know that, first rank is for, 50 plus students. This is unheard of. And the kind of marks also people are getting is somewhere also putting the composition of the question. So if you are having a question where the cutoff can be also at 100 percentile, then maybe something there, which is getting wrong in, composition of the questions. But having said that, the main stuff is for elections, we have moved to EVM, which is crack proof. But, for examination, we are still following that, pre-independence era of, let's say, examination system. So I would want to say that, there is a solution which is available and solution is very much possible, through help of technology. But NTA needs to be also, let's say, technology enabled. People who are actually sitting on the board, who are taking decisions how examinations are to be conducted. Whenever we are talking about such a large scale of examination for our meritorious students, there has to be a technology platform where every step is actually monitored and is transparent and is actually building trust. And this is, again, I'm repeating, very much possible through technology like blockchain, technology like, many other control systems. And many of these systems are already working in the entire world. You talk about the lottery systems, you talk about the train reservation systems, you talk about the airline locking systems. You talk about even the hotel reservation systems. They have a, let's say, capability that, if a person has booked a room, then no second person can book the room, as well as, the room cannot be seen as vacant. So I think, NTA, this is high time. This should be taken as a trigger point that, the entire examination has to be digital. It has to avail the availability of technology. And we have to instill confidence in the children that, whatever, they are giving their best. And this is such a stressful examination. Just to give a reference, when ChatGPT was also trained for NEET examination, it could not pass. So ChatGPT could score only 35 to 40 marks, for a NEET exam. So NEET exam is of that high level standard. And if now we are getting 50 plus students who are having first rank, this is seriously, I think, something, a big, broken system here. We need to get, people who can understand these systems, highly decentralized systems, trusted systems, controllable systems, which can bring in transparency. And then I think, NTA can get back its own credibility. So this is definitely a big credibility crisis at NTA. And we are talking about the future of our doctors, so future of our nation, the health of our nation. And this cannot be thought as just one more examination. This is not like that, if we cannot actually make non-meritorious people who are becoming doctors and then ultimately they are going to treat us. So we know the impact is much bigger than, just an entrance examination. So this has to be thought very, very seriously. And also at a bigger level, now the new ministries have been formed. So this has been my suggestion always that, nowadays, ministry like education, HRD, cannot act in silos. They have to take a pinch from, there has to be a horizontal ministry on technology, so that, they are actually able to understand, what technology help they can take, so that, these kind of incidences are not going to happen in future.
Right. Let me also rope in Dr. Rai, who is the former General Secretary of the Indian Medical Association. Dr. Rai, how do you rate this colossal failure? And, there are various suits that are being filed all over the country. There have been suicides, sir, by students who have found themselves in a very precarious spot. Who should be blamed for that? Who should be accountable for that?
Thank you very much, Vinit. And literally, it is a shame for us also, because we are talking about the education system and the best possible doctors India is producing. Now you see 2.4 million people have appeared for the NEET examination. And to crack the NEET examination is not an easy job. After studying 10+2, then the boys are leaving their home. They are going to the other cities like Kota and some other places where more than 3 lakh persons from, in Kota, more than 3 lakh students every year go there for the coaching only. After struggling, reading, studying for 1 year, and in the last months they have appeared in the examination, and if they come to know that now the paper has leaked. So now how much pain they will have, how much pain the children will have. And we every day we are reading in the newspapers also the suicidal cases as far as in the Rajasthan and other places are concerned, because children are studying very hard, and when they see that in spite of their best efforts, they are not cracking the examination. And the things comes when they come to know the paper has been leaked at some places, and there are some centers from where 8 students are securing 720 marks. How it's possible? 720 marks in 67 candidates all over the country is next to impossible. NTA should take the responsibility. They should immediately investigate the case, investigate the whole thing by an independent agency, and they should pinpoint who are the culprits, and action should be taken against them. Now the question comes, we are talking, and there are a lot of cases that have been filed in the Supreme Court, and if they say they are demanding the re-NEET. Re-NEET is also not going to serve the purpose. If NT has already accepted and the NCB has accepted that there are 1600 students where some default or some problem started, the OMG was not there, and the papers were delayed. Why they cannot take examination of those 1600 persons and let them take examination, and then they can mix it, and other students all over the country, they should make the new merit list also. And I think every student will be happy, because those students who have cracked the examination now, and if they are deprived of this admission, it will be shame on that. And my friends, Dr. Bagai and Dr. Seth, they are discussing that the curriculum which we are having is not for the benefit of the students. Now every person, and you all will agree with me, students are not going to the schools. I mean, in the 12th examination, they are just sitting in the coaching classes. They are not studying. They are just cramming, and they are doing this only examination in the coaching classes. Just going in the coaching classes, you are going to treat the human body, which has got a number of complicated things. Nobody knows what is happening in the stomach, because in our books it has been written, stomach is a magic box. What we think and what comes out by just going through the MC questions, you are not going. A detailed study is needed, which they should immediately think on that. And it's a very good thing, because our country is enjoying a good reputation all over the world because of the doctors. And now the things are coming on these things, we are going to have a bad name as far as other concerned. But my only apprehension is this thing. Number 2.4 million people have appeared. Those who have cracked the examination, and the cutoff date, which was used to be at 500 or 600, it has gone 30-40 marks more. It should be investigated thoroughly. Those who have cracked the examination should not be deprived. They should be given a chance, and even the counseling can be delayed for some time, so that they can churn everything. 1600 students where in Haryana where 8 students have secured at that place. If Patna has leaked the examination, let there be the re-examination. Only the re-examination of those students where the complaint has come and NT has accepted, there are few shortfalls. So I think we can find out. But ultimately, transparency is a must as far as education is concerned.
Sir, you're absolutely right. Let me also, in fact, bring in Sunil and Ujjwala once again. Sunil Kumar, क्या चाहते हैं आप, क्या मांग है आपकी, कितने असंतुष्ट हैं आप इस पूरी प्रणाली को लेकर, और क्या मांगे आपकी? अगर आपसे पूछता है नेशनल टेस्टिंग एजेंसी कि आपको क्या चाहिए, तो आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे उनसे?
सर, जैसा यहाँ पे अभी डॉक्टर्स ने बोला है कि पेपर जहाँ पे लीक हुआ है वहीं पे पेपर वापस होना चाहिए। सर, इससे मैं असहमत हूँ, क्योंकि ये एक सोशल मीडिया का ज़माना है सर। इसमें अगर एक बच्चे के पास भी पेपर लीक प्रूफ होता है, तो वो कितने हज़ारों किलोमीटर तक जा सकता है, पूरे ऑल ओवर इंडिया में 1 सेकंड में फैला जा सकता है। हम उसका प्रेडिक्शन नहीं कर सकते। तो पटना में अगर पेपर लीक प्रूफ होता है, तो सिर्फ पटना में ही पेपर वापस कराना, ये एक, मुझे लगता है ये एक सही बात है, क्योंकि व्हाट्सएप का ज़माना है सर। हम 1 सेकंड में पटना से पेपर बिहार, झारखंड, तमिलनाडु कहीं भी जा सकते हैं। तो एक पैंडोरा बॉक्स खोला जाएगा। साथ ही साथ ईयू पटना ईयू जो है वो इस पेपर लीक का इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रही है। लेकिन अगर आप देखेंगे ईयू ने परीक्षा संचालन एजेंसी से नीट का पेपर मांगा था, करीब 10 दिन हो गए हैं, लेकिन अभी तक उन्होंने ईयू को जवाब नहीं दिया है। ईयू को बर्न्ट पेपर्स मिले थे सर अपनी रेड में, और वहाँ पे 74 क्वेश्चंस मिले और एक बुकलेट भी मिली थी लीक की इन्वेस्टिगेशन में। लेकिन ईयू ने फिर उसके बाद उनको मैच करने के लिए कि क्या ये असली क्वेश्चन पेपर है, उसके लिए परीक्षा संचालन एजेंसी से पेपर मांगा, लेकिन 10 दिन हो गए, अभी तक उन्होंने पेपर नहीं भेजा। तो ये कहीं ना कहीं हम चाहते हैं कि उसमें एजेंसी हमारा सपोर्ट।
उज्ज्वला आपकी क्या मांग है? आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे एजेंसी से कि किस तरीके से इस रॉन्ग को राइट किया जाए?
सर, सबसे पहले तो ग्रेस मार्क्स हटाकर हमें पता चले कि किन बच्चों को कितना आया है जो ग्रेस मार्क्स मिलके आज 720 715 ला रहे हैं, क्योंकि इतने ज्यादा एस्पिरेंट्स है। रीनेट इज श्योरली अ डिफिकल्ट टास्क, लेकिन कोई भी कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम में देयर इज नो सिस्टम ऑफ ग्रेस मार्क्स। वी आर हियरिंग दिस लाइक, एंड इट इज ऑल्सो एप्लीकेबल टू क्लैट। हाउ कैन दे गिव ग्रेस मार्क्स? सबसे पहले रीएवैल्यूएशन किया जाए मार्क्स का। टाइम लॉस तो हर एक सेंटर पे होता है, हमारे यहाँ भी 10 मिनट टाइम लॉस हुआ, हमें तो कोई ग्रेस मार्क्स नहीं मिली। सिर्फ उन्हीं 2-3 पर्टिकुलर स्टेट में क्यों ग्रेस मार्क्स दी जा रही है बच्चों को, और कितनी दी जा रही है, किस बेसिस पे दी जा रही है, इसका कोई क्लैरिफिकेशन नहीं आया है एनटीए की तरफ से।
All right. Dr. Bagai, let's also discuss solutions. You know, the other day also we were speaking you were on my show, you mentioned that in comparison to what other countries are doing, there is a learning here. There is an overhaul that is also required. India is in fact, looking at becoming the third largest economy in the next few days. These episodes, these incidents are definitely a blot, on that projection, on that trajectory. What needs overall, and how do you think it's possible considering the mammoth scale of this exercise?
I have 3 basic suggestions to make, and I wish and I pray and I hope that the powers to be are listening to this and they can implement it. I've been in healthcare, Vineet and everyone on panel, close to around 40 years. So I know the game and I know the system. In fact, 4 basic suggestions. One is we need to make class 12 a little bit more relevant. There should be a 25% weightage for class 11, 25% weightage for class 12, and 50% weightage for any competitive entrance exam for MBBS. So that's the first suggestion. Point number 2 is the curriculum of the entry point of MBBS just has to undergo radical change. We cannot have botany and zoology deciding an MBBS future of a child going on to become a specialist or a super specialist. Point number 3 is we need to make the system technology transparent. We can't give grace marks, we can't give extra time, we can't reevaluate just a small segment for this year, that is, because if one student has it, take it as granted, 1 lakh will have it. It just goes within a second. Everyone is prying for that paper and it destroys the system. And last, most importantly, is you cannot give a multi-million fighter pilot jet to a person who comes from a reserved category. Likewise, you cannot have reservations in medicine. You are dealing with a human body, you need merit to come in. You can't have 2 seats out of which 1 is reserved. You can't have 4 seats out of which 2 are reserved. It is destroying Indian healthcare. You can have a platform in which children coming from lower socioeconomic class can have a support system, but you can't have reservations. I'm repeating it again. MBBS, MD, DCH, MCH, DM, and fellowship programs, DNB programs, no reservations, period. Get the best minds into Indian healthcare. India is rocking at the present moment in medicine and healthcare.
Absolutely.
Let's not
right, sir.
destroy it going forward.
Absolutely right. Appreciate everybody who took out the time, and we are definitely hoping that this is a predicament that we're going to be out of momentarily.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.